Alright guys, we're gonna be talking about the EX Pokemon today. What's going on everybody? We're Diversity. We're back in another video, but first we're gonna open some packs up real quick. And we're gonna be talking about the EX today. And we're it'll kind of be like a tier list, but not an official. Since this one's backwards, I usually just press the buttons. But since this one's flipped out. Oh, Kadabra. No, nothing special. I saw that one flip, so I just thought to go for it. Yeah, I'm getting kind of slacking on some of these packs, but lately, the game it's finna drop some plenty of content soon. So I'm really excited about the new set coming out. I'm a big Sinnoh. Sinnoh's my favorite region. Gen 4 is my favorite gen. So anytime I was thought we was gonna be ways out for Sinnoh. I'm so glad they're dropping Sinnoh first. I unbelievably happy. I'm glad that they I thought that they was gonna people were saying something about that they was gonna do JoJo, I think, or so, or on Gen 2, but they definitely just said F Gen 2 and N3. But either one, those gens are also great, but I'm a big huge Gen 4 fan. That's the game I started on, so love Gen 4. So I'm really excited for that. Gonna have Garchomp deck immediately. Maybe I seen Lucario's looking nice. I'm gonna have quite a few decks, man. Anyways, let me make this Wonder pick. Let me do this Wonder pick, then we're gonna check out the EX. And then we're going to I'm just gonna talk about them and also just rank them from strongest to weakest. Okay, and I'll finish Wonder picking later. Okay, so here's how I'm gonna do this. Similar to I think I'm gonna do best, or should I start with the worst? I'll start with worst to best. So Executor is gonna also be on here just because I did EX, but this is gonna be all the EX Pokemon. And let me do I don't want. Okay, I changed the settings so that the trainers wouldn't be here and none of the fancy special arts wouldn't be here. But I'll have to talk about Pikachu separate because I only have Pikachu in the fancy art. So remind me no, I'll just start with Pikachu actually. Pikachu is I'll start with Pikachu, then we'll go because I only have the fancy arts for Pikachu. But Pikachu is the still, if I have to give it a rank, and I'll just do S to C, S, A, B, and C. Pikachu's definitely S for sure. Everyone knows this. Pikachu's been the meta deck since this kind of came out. It gets online extremely quick. It is almost has very few weaknesses except for the fact that its HP is probably the lowest. I believe it is the lowest HP for an EX Pokemon. So with that being said, it sometimes can be an easy, quick, just as easy as you can get online and get some heavy damage going, can just be as easy as them as them countering. The only downside is with Pikachu is, I mean, the positive is that it just gets online extremely quick and it's doing 90 damage. Downside, it's only doing 90 damage though for the entire game. Now that's not bad. Obviously in 2 hits that Okos knocks out everything, just about, not everything. Except Charizard, but it does quite a bit of damage into everything else. So and Charizard takes quite a long time to get set up. And even if Charizard gets set up, you can potentially hit Charizard 3 times before they can knock out 2 Pikachu EXs. So potentially it's not the worst. But you get set up so quick that you probably they won't even have time to really set that up. Especially because considering you can take out the Moltres you can take out Moltres pretty freaking fast. So yeah. With that being said, yeah, Pikachu one of the best cards EX in the game, and yes, S tier for sure. All right, back to everyone else. I have the regular art for everyone else. Um, let's start from the top. Obviously, Executor is here too because I use EX as a word to search the EX. So the normal Executors are here, but we're gonna start with Venusaur now. Venusaur definitely is one of a really strong card. In a vacuum, almost unbeatable, especially when you consider the support that goes in with this card. Venusaur is extremely difficult to deal with once it's set up. I think I truly believe have this card just had one, like I'd say just had it have one less energy cost for Giant Bloom would probably be the best, one of the best cards in the game. I would say just off rip, I think Venusaur is B. Venusaur it's a stage 2. Any stage 2 is going to be really difficult to get going. You need 2 additional cards, and on top of that, this has a huge energy requirement of 4, and it's only doing 100. So with that being said, it's only doing 100, so it's not even getting a knockout on most of the other EXs. So you're gonna need 2 turns to knock it out. With that being said, this is one of the best cards that's gonna survive for sure for 2 turns. But with it's kind of still scary in those late game situations if your other opponent's doing heavy damage and they attack you first. So even then, you're recovering quite a bit, but it still can be scary. So I think just because it's not doing that much damage, I have to put it B. But it definitely is very, like, I played this deck, and once it gets online, it feels unkillable. So a lot of things too, like legit, it's so unkillable that if you when this thing comes out, you pray that you have no bench Pokemon for them to Sabrina, because if this thing or no way to win, because you want them to fight this Venusaur head on, because it just won't go down. It won't go down without a fight, and it can pretty much sweep a team that's not completely, like, that's not fully set up. Like if a team doesn't have like two Arcanines just sitting back to back with each other, then it probably won't be the fully powered Venusaur with some Sabrinas in your hand. But yeah, I give it B tier for sure. Definitely one of stronger out the trio. But I think it just takes way too long to set up. Executor, instant offense. This guy's definitely a great. He's just versatile because he's really good as just a early game wall. And he's 160 super, just nothing's killing that. It's gonna be able to attack for at least 3 turns. Like Mewtwo's not gonna be able to do much. Like it's going to be able to attack at minimum like 3 turns before your opponent can do anything to this thing, or not even potentially knock it out. So with that being said, doing 80 immediately with just 1 energy. Your first attacking turn is kind of nice. So not too much. Just a great, in my opinion, just one of the better walls. This is like probably the best wall. Obviously, it's the EX, so you don't want it to die. It does have the retreat cost is high. I will say that's the only negative. Is you probably don't want this thing in the whole time. So you really kind of, once it's time to come out, that's the issue. But with Leaf, I think that's a little bit better now. Just Leaf. Have your energy already on there, and then you can get out with just that. But other than that, yeah, I think Executor one of the best grass cards in the game. I would give it A tier for sure. Now Charizard, in my opinion, he gets okay. I don't know why I thought Charizard had 200 HP. He only has 180. Venusaur has the highest HP, which is 190. Charizard's just good. Like objectively, like one of the only cards that can guarantee to knock out any other card in the game with no conditions, no coin flips, none of that. Objectively, he's just automatically like one of the best cards in the game with that alone. I think this may be, some people may put him lower. I think Charizard's S tier. When Charizard's deck's going, It's good. Only thing is like anytime a deck relies on coin flips, that's where it's kind of like ooh iffy. But this deck isn't too much different from I am Mewtwo in my opinion, except for the fact that it's like the opposite of Mewtwo. You start with Moltres and you use Moltres to build energy instead of evolving a stage 2 to build that energy later on. So that's the only difference. It's just a really a flip. But the only difference that I think makes this one just any bit more worse than Mewtwo is that it's not as consistent because there's coin flips involved. Mewtwo, no coin flips. Charizard, coin flips. That's like almost other than that, they almost operate almost the exact same. Um, so other than that, yeah, Charizard, I think he's S tier. I think some people argue lower, but he's definitely, in my opinion, one of the best cards in the game. Just not always like you're fearful. Everyone should be scared of a Charizard deck that can get online. That gets online at the in time, no delays. It gets online in 3 turns. Everyone should be very scared of that. There's no deck that's probably surviving that. Arcanine, I think I would give Arcanine. I think Arcanine is A actually. Arcanine does a lot of things well. Only thing is he just damages himself. I think that's the biggest thing. But he can get online fairly quickly. He's only stage 1, 3 energy. So just probably if one lucky Moltres flip and you're already online, like if you go second and you get 3 heads or even just 2 or something like that, you can already start attacking with Arcanine your second turn if you went second. So it is pretty quick to get online if you're lucky. And he's doing 120. That's like very this. I mean, and think about that. Think about if everything goes right. This guy's he's coming in the same time as Pikachu. So even if their Pikachu, if they get their Pikachu online, or they won't even be able to get their Pikachu online if you go second. So it's very much in the perfect situation. I think really good. I think also just really strong. I think even after taking 20, which you can potion, and I think with blue now he's a little bit more stronger too because even you can attack and then blue and you know because sometimes you're thinking well maybe if only I could have potioned before I attacked. But with blue, I think maybe that may be a little bit more helpful in preventing you from getting knocked out or anything like that. But we're only been weak to water, and water's not that heavy in the meta, and it's not too crazy heavy. I think Arcanine is really nice because he's at least gonna get two of these off, and it's not really anybody's gonna eat 2 of these. There's no Pokemon that's gonna eat 2 of these. Even a fully healthy Venusaur is not gonna be able to eat 2 of these. Even with I think a Serena or I mean um I forget the name already. But yeah, even Venusaur may not be able to survive 2 of those. Moltres, just an enabler of the other 2. A tier on his own, just can't do much, but he enables other decks. Nothing wrong with that. Retreat cost, just wish it was just 1. That would make him really strong. Probably would have made him S if he was just 1 retreat, but that 2 makes it difficult that you need to have an X speed to kind of get him out of there. Unless you just want to waste more energy on him. All right, next up on the list, Big Man Blastoise. I'm a big fan of all the Gen 1s. I remember I played Kanto like a few times, at least like a dozen or so times, and I've used every starter. I just enjoy it's one of the only games I just enjoy picking a different starter every time. Like I love using Charizard, I love using Blastoise, Venusaur. It felt best just using Venusaur. I don't know why. I guess because he's so effective early on as you're building your team. But other than that, I just love the game. I don't know. And then his poison type. I think he's one of the only. I never was like big on poison or used poison types. But Venusaur had that poison typing. Just love Gen 1. But anyways, and funny enough too, I played Gen 1 so many times. I've never fully beat the game. I've never fully captured Mewtwo. I'm not official Gen 1er. I've never officially. I had played Fire Red a dozen times, but every time I did it, I never even went to the islands at the end of the game to capture Articuno in them. I mean Articuno Moltres in them. I gotta go back through the game and play it in its entirety. I have to. But anyways, Um, yes, Blastoise, one of the best tanks in this game. I think he is just as good. I mean, I wouldn't say tank because him and Charizard are the same, but I think he's really great as well. Now with just a bit more with just a bit more energy, if you're lucky, you're swinging for 160. 160 is respectable. Um, that pretty much knocks out a bunch of other EXs on this list, and we'll reference them when we come across them. But he definitely, in my opinion, he's just A tier. No, that's too generous because him and him and Venusaur are about the same for a while, and actually he's even worse than Venusaur. But if you just get even two lucky flips with Misty, um, then he gets online a lot faster than Venusaur technically. But I'll put them both. I think they're both B tier. I think Venusaur and Blastoise both B tier. But Blastoise, he's just I was using this card recently, and yeah, it was a fun time. It was a fun time. Um, Starmie EX. I think this card. I don't have a second one. Until I get a second one, I haven't played this deck. But I'm scared of it every time. Like, is no one else scared of this card? Like he like 130 is bad. He gets knocked out by a Pikachu with a Giovanni. So, but the thing is, no, I'm sorry, no, he doesn't. 20. No, he doesn't. Not even with you. No, no, no. I'm sorry. No, he does not. He actually needs a lot more than that. But a lot of cards do hit for 120. 120 is kind of like the benchmark, if you will, like the median for like heavy hitters, like a Blaine, Ninetales 120, Machoke 120, Machamp, I mean, I said Machoke, 120. So a lot of them are hitting for a consistent 120. Arcanine 120. So, yeah, like with a Blaine, I mean not a Blaine, with a Giovanni. A lot of things do kind of not one shot this thing, and it's not one shot a lot of things back, but it does get online extremely quickly, just as quick as anything else you can imagine. If you go second, put energy on the Staryu. Then you go, then your next turn you have Starmie. You're doing 90, and you're good. You can retreat at any time, so you can save this card on the bench, ready to go. And I think it does partner well. A lot of people don't. I don't know. It had, Vaporeon hasn't had a lot of success in the tournaments, but when I played Vaporeon against that Blastoise drop event, that deck almost always seemed to come clutch when Vaporeon. Again, when you play against the CPU, it seems like they always had the right cards at the right times. But when Vaporeon did make an appearance, it always was clutch because Starmie became so flexible. It was like, okay, 2 energy on Starmie. Now I'm a sub in Articuno. Articuno is now able to hit for 80. Once Articuno gets low, I can bring that Starmie back in, hit for 90. It's crazy what if you can get that set up. And that's not too hard. That's a basic and two stage ones. A basic and two. That's not too crazy to set up. So, anyways, yep, that's it. Love it. I think Starmie is at least. I think A tier for sure. Only thing that doesn't make it S. It's just it's easy knocked. It's easily knocked out, and it's only doing with a Giovanni 100. So it's but you're getting set up so quick. You're almost more effective, I think, than Pikachu. But Pikachu just has more. It feels like Pikachu does like it plays better into other types so much more than Starmie does. And also Pikachu's a basic, so obviously if you just draw Pikachu, you're good to go. Articuno, speaking of Articuno, I think Articuno is also a. Articuno does his job well. If you get lucky, Articuno is very devastating early on. If you get lucky, Misty, even without the if I can talk, unlucky Misty, as long as you go second, you're in pretty good shape. Your third turn, you're doing 80 plus 10 to the bench, very respectable. Can't complain. And obviously, if you just like I say, if you get lucky, you pretty much win off a Misty early game with him. So Articuno, not bad in my opinion. And all you need is just two lucky flips. Zap's a good wall. I'll give Zapdo just a C though. 2 on his own. Like he's like 20 pecs respectable. He's a good wall, but he still has a retreat cost. And his Thunder Hurricane's a coin flip. I have lost to it once though before. Like the only way he was gonna beat me. I had a fully healthy Gengar, EX Gengar. Only way he was gonna beat me is if he flipped four heads. He flipped four heads and won the match. So it was crazy. Speaking of Gengar, because Gengar, like I said, is 170. He couldn't one shot me. Yeah, C for Zapdos. Zapdos does his job. He's a wall. He just kind of plays well with Pikachu just because he can take some hits until you get Pikachu online, or until your bench gets pretty full for Pikachu to actually be effective. But Gengar, yeah, Gengar is. I think of Gengar a C. I love this card for a little minute, but he gets set up so late that it just doesn't feel great with him because by the time you get set up, here's what he counters really well. He counters late game Sabrina's, late game Giovanni's. He also counters like Blaine, late game Blaine's, late game. He really feels like he shuts down Lieutenant Surge's deck. That's like this feels like what his main job is. But also another small factor, if you're playing a Golem deck, which what's the chances of that? He plays really well into that because by the time they do get Golem out, you may have Gengar out, and then they can't put an extra energy on their Golem with Brock. So that's like the only thing. Another thing to touch on with Gengar, I just thought about he only does 100 damage. That's very much below the baseline. We really need him doing 120 minimum. Like 120 just feels a lot better. But 100, I think that's really what holds him up. Is like 20, and that's what I love about the game. 20 damage doesn't seem like a lot, but it is so much in this game. But I think being able to one shot a Pikachu is like the standard for like a stage 2, in my opinion. Like if you can't that's what also kind of makes Venusaur not the greatest. But Venusaur is eating Pikachu just like looks silly trying to like fight Venusaur. But other than that, and then again, if you attack first, you heal pretty much everything up. Like they attack you, then you heal up, and you only took basically 20 damage from Pikachu. So yeah, you pretty much you do really well into Pikachu, in my opinion, with Venusaur. But Gengar, yeah, not so much. You get 2-shot if he goes first, and you can't kill him in one shot. So but if you go first and you kill him, but he's still doing half your health. So yeah, Gengar just C in my opinion. Mewtwo, I gotta give Mewtwo obviously S. Mewtwo's the best deck in the game. I think because it's even more consistent now with the Mythical Slab, but just with only really needing Gardevoir to set up just to make him really consistent, hitting for 150 every turn. Again, we're talking about benchmarks. He beats himself, so that's good. The only real counter to him is that his HP isn't that crazy high. So if you just and he takes quite a minute to power up. So again, I think people like to talk bad on the like other decks like Blaine and stuff. Blaine decks say, oh, it's like a beginner deck, a basic. I think Blaine gets set up so quick it threatens Mewtwo very, very fast. So I think decks like that put a lot of pressure on decks like Mewtwo, because Mewtwo takes so long to set up. So I think Mewtwo, I wouldn't say long, but you're gonna need at least 3 turns. So that's what I mean. When I say that, at least 3 turns, and that's hoping you're going second. So and that's hoping you get Gardevoir on that 3rd turn, and you can actually use your side drive on that. So but Mewtwo takes quite a bit of time to set up. I think now you want to definitely run a wall. If I was running Mewtwo, I would definitely want to run a wall, because I think I don't want him taking. That's the biggest issue when I do beat up Mewtwo decks, is because they take so much chip damage early on that they're easy to just kind of one shot later on. So you definitely don't want it taking hits until it's set up, in my opinion. But yeah, if you wait and you can get it to wait, yeah, he's pretty tough to beat, because essentially a fully healthy Mewtwo comes in, and they already have Gardevoir set up. They're hitting 150 consistently, and you can't one shot it. So he's pretty much gonna one shot anything you throw out unless you're playing Charizard. Um, or Blastoise. Blastoise is the only other thing that's gonna be able to tank it. But yeah. I guess they should make Blastoise higher than Venusaur because I guess how well does he play into Mewtwo is kind of really relevant, and I think Blastoise at full power definitely one shots Mewtwo, and Venusaur never one shots it. So, but Charizard and Blastoise can one shot it in the best case scenario. So maybe I should put Blastoise a little bit higher, but yeah, S tier for sure. Machamp, I don't. I'm gonna say it. He does the baseline. He does the 120. I think Machamp's A. I think he gets like he's just. I think he gets slapped in B all the time. But my thing is he can attack in his. Can I? I don't think I can see it. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say I can see the evolution line here. He attacks Machop. They can all attack. So you go second. You're hitting every turn. He's hitting on curve. He's so middle of the road that you just like want to say he's B. But he, in my opinion, just being able to hit on curve and just 180, doing 120. You're taking out Pikachu. You're one shotting Starmie with the deal. And again, if they had something else, say like a say that Mewtwo was at the front line, you're already doing so much damage into Mewtwo that by the time you hit him for 120, he's gonna die. So I think he's really powerful in my opinion. I say A tier. Marowak, coin flip, I hate him. C, too much to have fun with this card. Too much. Definitely C. I just when I play this card, I just want one hit. I'm not even greedy. Don't even give me 160. I just want one. And this man never hits it. He always goes two tails, and it's so frustrating. If you get two tails back to back, it is devastating, and that pretty much will cost you the game. And he's only at 142, so he really can't even afford that many that many mistakes. He gets just offed by everything. And imagine like Articuno just staring you down, hitting you for 80, and then just hitting your bench too, and then you just missing all your tails. Crazy work there. Oh, I didn't know. Okay, this Pikachu actually was here. I could have waited to do Pikachu. Wigglytuff. We got like 3 Wigglytuff skins. Look, think I have the most EX Wigglytuffs out of all my EXs. If I had filtered this by the most. Yeah, Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff goes. Here's the thing. I don't like coin flips, but Wigglytuff even if you're just even a little bit lucky is very dangerous because you're getting off a free 8. You're getting off 160, basically. If they get the head, basically it's like he's like Marowak, but only one coin flip. You only need one coin flip. He's guaranteed to do 80. If they go to sleep, they're stuck there. They're gonna take another 80. So you're basically getting it's free. You're doing 160, quote unquote. If everything if they do fall asleep. If not, you're doing 80, which is respectable. But for 3 energy, and also if this card only was 2 energy, I think he would be meta. But for 3, yeah, I mean it's just better options because what's the point of the sleep, honestly? Like, I mean, yeah, if you get it, great. They're screwed. But I'd rather play for consistency, and I'd rather just play Starmie. Or shoot, if we're flipping coins, maybe I should just play Marowak, who can actually do 160, and with one less energy. Or shoot, if I'm only gonna be doing 80, I'd rather be Articuno, who's gonna be doing 80 and with a guaranteed effect, you know. So, yeah, and then also like, it's just not better than Pikachu. Like who would just like? There's no point in playing this over Pikachu. And just if we're just being real, Pikachu's basic stage 1. Wigglytuff C, I think it's just everything just seems better than it. I'd even almost play Marowak over honestly, but Marowak Yeah, because you just get that earlier. You can attack one turn earlier, and yeah, you just if you're lucky, you know, you're still hitting for 160. Um, and yeah, that's everybody. Okay, I think that's all of the original EXs. If I'm missing something, I'm trying to look. I don't think so. Everything else is the new ones. Oh, and this promo. I'll start Lapras because he's been here older than the Mystical Island ones. Um, Kind of similar to Wigglytuff. Obviously, there's a lot of these like 80 mark with some of these. I just feel like that's dumb. If you're using 3 energy for only 80s, that's dumb. But Blastoise is a stage 2. Lapras, I'll give it a C. I'll give it B actually. I think Lapras is actually like if it gets lucky and this thing gets set up early, it is kind of hard to kill because 20 plus potions. Yeah, it's pretty dangerous. And it 2 shots Pikachu. Even Pikachu can't 1-shot it. So if you attack Pikachu first, you beat Pikachu, and that's the only thing that's really threatening you because it's hitting you hard. Everything else, yeah. And it's a perfect 140, which is really good for that. Like keeps you away from that 120 Giovanni range, which I'm so scared of. So yeah, it keeps you away from that. Like a Starmie, that's what makes Starmie kind of not as good. It's because of that Giovanni 120. Everything's kind of hitting around 120, and with a Giovanni, you're just getting 1-shot it. So, but yeah, Lapras, a lot of viability, can survive quite a bit. Get lucky with Misty, pretty good. I don't think it's bad. I think he actually fits really nicely. Actually, the more I think about it, into a Vaporeon deck. Like if you just have nothing else to go with it, like you could just do Vaporeon, Articuno, and well, this one does have a big retreat cost though. But I guess you would bring him in maybe last, or maybe just I don't know what you would do with him. But yeah, you could definitely throw him in instead of Starmie or something, take some hits. I think he has a purpose. I'm gonna give him B. I don't think he's that bad. Lapras is okay. Not that great though. Only 80. If it was doing 100, that'd be really nice. Compete with Venusaur, but obviously a basic. But I think just it being a basic is just really what I really like. It was fun appealing about it. Okay, Gyarados and Celebi. I'll do Celebi first. Celebi, I don't know. People say is Celebi's S. Like it's just S to me because when you pair with Superior, like yes, you have to get lucky with your coin flips, but if we're doing probability, once you get three energy on it, you're guaranteed to at least do 100 damage. You're guaranteed to at least do 100 to 50 to 150, or even you can pretty much 1-shot anything in a game if you just get lucky with your coin flips with just 3 energy attached to it with your Superior out. You can 1-shot any. So that probability of that is, even though it's wide, is very still consistent. I just never had a time where I had all tails. I never flipped 6 coins and had all tails. So, man, once the thing gets 8 coins, it's 1-shotting everything. It's 1-shotting everything. If you have not been able to counter this thing, it's 1-shotting everything. Only bad thing about it, it can't take too much damage. But the only good thing about it is that it pairs with what is her name? What is the freaking the grass healer? I cannot remember her name right now. I'll go look at it in a second. It's been so long. I don't know why I can't think of her name right now. But yes, Gyarados. Oh, Celebi S. Just not much to say. I think once you pair with Superior, really enabled this card. Once you get 4 energy on, like I said, you're just gonna run through everything. There's nothing you can put in this Pokemon's face. Yeah. Yeah. That's all I really need to say for that. Gyarados. I think Gyarados is nice. I think interesting note. People are running so many. You can just run Hitmonlee or just anything that's attacking the bench and really target Magikarp. So that's the only negative. Like if you're playing in a tournament, like Gyarados is gonna be there, and you just want to make sure you're countering it. The reason Gyarados is so strong is look at how much damage it does. $140. We just talked about benchmarks. 120 is kind of the benchmarks, but being able to do 140. Now again, could say, you could even argue honestly, like what makes this one better than Blastoise? Well, one, Blastoise uses one extra energy to do that 160, and also Blastoise is a stage 2, so that's what makes him just better than Blastoise, a better version of Blastoise. So all you really need to do is get like two on your coin flip, and you can have Gyarados going within 2 turns if you get lucky on your Misty. Or obviously your second turn minimum, but just minimum. You don't need all 4. You just need two heads. Obviously that's asking for a lot. If you ever use Misty, just two is way too much. And then you would get like tails like 10 times straight, and just randomly you would get like seven heads for no reason. But anyways, Gyarados, one of the best with Giovanni one shots Mewtwo, which again is probably the best card in the game, or best deck. And he does heavy damage into everything else. Just anything under Mewtwo, he's obviously knocking out. Like we said, Starmie, Celebi one shot, Celebi one shots, Pikachu one shots. I think I said Staryu already, or Starmie, I should say. And anything else I'm trying to think about that's under that benchmark. Just the big threats, like I said, those big threats, he takes them out. Yeah, all you need is just a wall and just charge him up. He's tanky. Nothing's really getting to him. He's really just super strong. S tier for sure. Mew's been really good. He go in a lot of decks. I think Mew's A. He can counter a lot of things. Counter a Charizard. He counters. I wouldn't say Celebi, because Celebi probably does better. But he counters. Mainly he's just a big Charizard counter, but I think also too he can just counter other things that can hit hard with less energy. With a high energy. Like if he copies freaking like Blastoise or Venusaur or something, he's like doing really good. So anyways, Mewtwo, Mew EX, I give it an A. Aerodactyl C. I just haven't seen his card. I think his ability is just not that great, because everyone knows you build up from the bench most of the time. And let's say in that situation, maybe you're using Machamp, and maybe you're just like you can attack on curve, so maybe you can stay in your active spot there. But most of the time you're just building on the bench, so it just doesn't. It's not very helpful. But if they flip their effect to the bench, then he would be broken. So, but other than that, 80 is respectable. But again, why is 80 respectable? You guys just realize too how many cards we just saw earlier that hit for 80 for 3. So, Wigglytuff, Lapras, this guy's hitting for 80 for 2 with no effect, but that's fine. He's hitting a turn earlier, so it's all good. Pretty much a consistent 80 on like Marowak. Same HP as Marowak too. Honestly, if he was like between them and Marowak, he's definitely the better option. Pidgeot EX, I would give Pidgeot EX a B actually. I've actually lost to this before, and it's easy to, if you see it coming, it's easy to counter, but you may not always see it coming before it's too late. But yeah, he's only doing like 100 or so if you can negate like setting up too much. And only 120 is the bench. He can't hit that benchmark of 120 pretty easy. And obviously 140 is pinning him in the same range as Gyarados. So if he's in 140, then like you're dangerous, because he's one-shotting Mewtwo. But obviously, I think one thing about him, you can get around him so easy, that I think that's the only issue, is you can just kind of get around him really, really easy. And I think that's everybody. Yep, because everything else we talked about. And let me double check one more time. Let me make sure we're not missing anything either. Yeah, this is the Pikachu I was talking about. So yeah, we got everybody else. Okay, cool. That's my list, guys. I don't want to make this video too long. If you guys agree, I don't think too many things may be. A few things did, but yeah, I think everything's either like really high, or just like really bad, or just under, just a tier under. Too many conditions have to be right for that. Again, something like Pidgeot. But yeah, that's all I got, man. Hope you guys did enjoy this, man. Thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, man. Real Diversity. We are out. Peace.